And with that, I yield myself as much time as I may consume.
The gentleman is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, even after the Trump administration rightfully withdrew from the dangerous Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or JCPOA, the Biden administration entered office committed to pursuing a new nuclear deal with Iran. And throughout this administration's dealings with Iran, it was abundantly clear that Iran was taking advantage of the administration's blind commitment to negotiations just for the sake of negotiating. A nuclear Iran is not acceptable, full stop. However, throughout 2021, 2022, the Biden administration continued to push negotiations even as Iran escalated its nuclear provocations. Iran suspended compliance with the IAEA additional protocol. Iran installed new advanced centrifuges. Iran increased its uranium stockpile towards enrichment. Iran refused to cooperate with an IAEA investigation. In fact, I met with the director of the IAEA at his office in Europe, and he said that the Iranians had a cyber attack on their office and stole all of their documents pertaining to their investigations dealing with compliance from Iran on the sites. That is not a good sign of good faith. You can't negotiate with somebody like that. But still, they're intent on getting this nuclear deal done. And it became very clear that they were desperate to reach a deal, even if it was a bad deal. And the irony, Mr. Speaker, is this. The very individual charged by Congress and the administration, the special envoy to Iran, Mr. Mallory, is under FBI investigation for violations of his security clearance. That is our top negotiator to Iran. And my colleagues and I have been gravely concerned that this administration would lift Iranian sanctions in exchange for insufficient limitations on Iran's nuclear program. These concerns grew even more severe, again, after Rob Malley came under FBI investigation, which the State Department failed to notify Congress. When I invited him to testify about the Iran deal, I was told he was not available. And now we know why. It's deeply disturbing that the United States government no longer trusts the one who is spearheading our negotiations with an enemy regime. We can't afford any strategic miscalculations when it comes to Iran. Again, as I said in the prior debate, deterrence is key, and you only deter and get peace through projecting strength. These include including strengthening our economic sanctions. While they have eased them, every dollar that goes to the Iranian regime in any form has the potential to be deadly. And the events of this past weekend demonstrate that. Iran launched over 350 missile and drone attacks on our ally in Israel, unprecedented in history. Israel, the United States, and other partners intercepted 99% of these weapons. Iran is not 10 feet tall. But that is why this legislation is so important. Congress and the American people need an opportunity to review any proposed plans to lift sanctions, especially the ones that Congress has mandated, on this rogue regime. This bill, which I want to thank my good friend Mr. Self on the Foreign Affairs Committee, also from the great state of Texas, this bill requires the president to report to Congress on any plans to terminate or waive sanctions on Iran. It codifies a process for Congress to conduct oversight of these proposed waivers and terminations. We have that power under Article 1 of the Constitution. Yet when they waive the sanctions that Congress passed, they're not notifying us. We deserve that right. And we have a responsibility to keep the American people safe. And that requires the executive branch and Congress work together to determine the national security interests of the United States. Congress must have a say in any attempts to broker any kind of deal with Iran. And with that, I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentleman.